Hey guys, a long time no speak. I have been really busy doing other work, busy with business. So I haven't been on in a really long time, but there have been some messages that have been hammering on me, so I will get these out to you guys. Hopefully two today, so you'll probably see this again. But the first thing I want to address is our children. And I say our children because I mean all of the children are our children. We are responsible for all of the children. So our children are lost. Our children are hurting. Our children are confused. Our children are being confused. Our children are being attacked. Our children are being targeted. Our children need us. Our children need us to stand up for them right now. A lot of people are fasting this month for Ramadan. A lot of other people are doing other intermittent fasting or whatever it is. Pray for our children. So I won't say who, um, because this world is small. I don't want anybody's business getting out. But there's a young man that I know through someone else who is in high school, and he was telling someone that I know who's close to me that he doesn't know who he is. He doesn't know what he wants to do. He doesn't know anything about himself. He feels lost. He's taken to smoking and, just to try to escape from the world, everything that's going on. And this young man is in high school. And it broke my heart because I do recognize that the kids today, they're only being given a certain set of information on how they should show up in the world. And a lot of that representation is toxic, it's delusion, it's confusion, and it's causing the children to feel all of these things, which is why there's such an influx of kids presenting with ADHD and ADD and anxiety, depression. Of course, us 80s babies and beyond, we didn't have a lot of the issues, mental health issues that these kids nowadays are having to deal with. One, because of the internet, social media. We didn't really have social media that much. So we spent a good portion of our lives not having social media and platforms and all these things to get caught up in as far as our identity is concerned, as far as our individuality, as far as our self identity, all of those things, we were able to hold more steadfast to that because we didn't have militias of people in our ear telling us who we should be, who we shouldn't be, what it's wrong to be, and all these things. And if you feel like who you are, then that's wrong too. It's it's a level of confusion that we never ever experienced. Right? If I'm a 16-year-old straight girl who identifies as a girl and I don't see anything wrong with that, then I'm phobic of another group of people who, like it's these kids don't have a chance to just be who they are, just figure out this world on their own terms in their own time and not have all of these adults who are supposed to be on the positive side of things and helping to look out for the betterment of these children and their mental health and their psyche and all of these things that are important to their core development as young people, young adults, going into the world as adults. Now we're dealing with the aftermath of a mental health crisis that everybody's too politically correct to call it what it is. And so all of these people are being lost in the fray. All of these children are being lost in the fray because society is telling them what is and what isn't. And that hasn't connected with them fully yet because they don't have the mental fortitude yet to break down all these compound issues, right? And they're being forced into a life that they don't even understand. And these kids are lost. And some of them are out here crying for help. And a lot of people who are supposed to be adults and who are supposed to be looking out for these children are failing them. I'll say we as a whole are failing all of the children. All of us are responsible for all of the children. It doesn't matter if they live in your community, your neighborhood. It doesn't matter if they're in your racial group. It doesn't matter if they're in your socioeconomic group. It does not matter which tax bracket their family belongs to. These are children, and the souls of them are getting lost in this world that does not care about them. It has come to deceive them. It has come to take from them. It has come to confuse and delude them. It has come to instill fear and anxiety and stress. Why are all the children stressed out? Have you all noticed that most of the children that you encounter on a day-to-day basis seem depressed? They seem like they just cannot survive in this world. Just one wrong word and they will fall apart. I actually encounter children like this on a weekly basis. You try to give them tough love, strong encouragement. I coach, so that's where I'm going with that. And some kids just fall apart. They can't even take the constructive criticism. They can't even take, come on, keep up, let's go. They literally cry, they fall apart. And that something's wrong with that. I'm not saying something's wrong with them, but something's wrong when we have a system set in place where most of the children nowadays cannot handle simple, basic emotional interactions. They can't handle harsh words or constructive criticism, and that's not good. And now you have all these things in place, all these participatory awards and all these things so nobody feels left out, right? You have kids getting presents not on their birthday because parents don't want them to feel left out. Right? We coddle these children. We give them all the things that they want so we can have a mental break. But all the while, we are aiding to the toxicity of their spirits because we don't know what they're looking at on the phones. We're not around. We don't know what they're listening to. If you ever sit next to your child while they have a phone in their hand, especially if they're on YouTube, do not let your children watch YouTube. The craziest ads pop up. The craziest ads pop up. You would be surprised and you're like, oh my God, they're watching kids videos. I would think that there'll be something set in place to protect these children from inappropriate content, but there isn't because they want the children to see these things that have traditionally been inappropriate. They say curse words on the radio now that I would have never even imagined. I can't even put the radio on with my son on in the car. Can't do it. It's not safe. You know, whereas when we were coming up, you would go to Walmart, buy a CD. You was getting a clean version. You could bet money. And you probably knew the kind of, most of our parents went to Walmart specifically to buy our CDs because Walmart had all the curse words blanked out. All of them. So our parents trusted the fact that I go to Walmart, get the clean version. You know, you have to go to Circuit City if you want the explicit, you know, version of a CD or a tape, which we're not going to get into that if y'all know what that is. You know, but nowadays, it doesn't matter if it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It doesn't matter if it's on kids' YouTube. The inappropriate things are coming out like this stupid. There's a pharmaceutical commercial. Truvada? Is it Truvada? Like as soon as it comes on a million times on HGTV, which is annoying because I like to watch that a lot. Most of the time, it's kid friendly. But that commercial comes up, and then you have, I don't care who's kissing on the TV screen. It don't need to be on a commercial coming on at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Those used to be reserved for prime time when I was coming up. You wouldn't see that until after 8 o'clock because kids are supposed to be in bed by then. So you taking a gamble if you're letting your children watch TV after 8 p.m. in the 80s and the 90s. Nowadays, it's a free for all. It doesn't matter what time of the day it is. You might see a boob, you're going to hear some curse words, some people going to be kissing, gay or straight. I don't find it appropriate for my 7-year-old. And it's so crazy, he even knows to cover his own eyes. But he gets confused when that commercial comes on because it's two men or one that looks like a man, but he's got on makeup and this the other. They are not equipped to handle these things, and you need to stop. We need to stop just allowing these things to continue for the sake of our children because they can't speak up for themselves. They don't know the words to say. Our children are out here saying they don't know who they are. I asked the child, I won't say what relation the child is to me. I asked the child, what was their passion? What are you passionate about? I have no idea. I don't think I'm passionate about anything. And this was a conversation of trying to figure out what to major in college, wanting to go to college, not really knowing where to go because what's my passion? What is it that I want to do? What is my purpose? They have no idea. No one's asking them these questions for the most part. The only thing that they're indulging in is foolishness and debauchery and mindless entertainment. That's all it is. It's rare that you hear a child looking for other things to watch that's educational. You know what I mean? Like you might catch him sometime, like some of those games. Like my son, sometime he'll hop on Starfall, or he used to like ABC Mouse, or you know, pull on Gracie's Corner. So he'll find educational things or do things that are educational. But for the most part, you'll find him on Minecraft or Roblox and all the kids. You know what I mean? But I talk to him all the time, and I tell him, "But this is the devil. It may seem fun, it may seem like it's a cool thing to do, but these children are drifting. They are drifting off. They're like zombies." And I call him that. I'm like, "You're like a zombie again. Put it away." And he has to get off because when they're on those things, they don't want to eat, they don't want to sleep. They don't know how to function in society. They can't hold conversations. They're not paying attention. So when they're in the real world and it's not moving in the same way that the game is moving, their minds can't function. They become uncomfortable and then they're bored. And they don't know who they are because they spend all their time devoted to this virtual reality, which is where I feel like they're pushing us all to, so we can get these kids locked into a virtual reality and let me build a whole house on Roblox and I can have rooms and a pool and TV and this and that. And same with Minecraft. They got villagers and you know what I mean? It's all crazy, but it locks them in because it's better than here, right? That's how they feel. Because this world is so stressful, but in here, I can do what I want, right? No one's really telling me what to do. So when they are being told what to do and they are given instruction, they're either falling apart or they rebel against it or they're not paying attention anyway. So they just lead straight into disobedience. And then we as parents become frustrated. So we either handle it correctly or incorrectly, most times incorrectly. And then it just keeps perpetuating a cycle because we're not understanding what the root of the issue is. This is a spiritual warfare against our children. This is spiritual. All the children are affected equally. No matter the class, no matter the race, all of our children are being equally targeted. Start asking your children, What are you passionate about? What is it that you like to do? Who do you want to be? How do you want to present to the world? How do you want to be? Who do you think you are? Who are you? Ask your children. See what they say. I'm sure it'll be eye opening. I try to pour good things into my son on a consistent basis, like multiple times a day. Multiple times a day. Because I feel like everywhere he turns, it's always, like kids are really being compared to each other a lot. There's all these kids on YouTube and their accomplishments are on full display. So they're watching all these young kids. Like for him, these really young kids really excel at soccer and do these amazing things in martial arts. And they're so young and he's looking like, well, I'm older than them. Why can't, how can they do it? And then it's like, he starts to feel a way about himself. He starts to feel a certain way about me and his father, like, oh, we're not doing enough, or whatever it is that he thinks, even though he gets taken places and given things and involved with him more than necessary, but it's just the comparison. And then it eats away at his self-confidence, it eats away at his self-esteem. Competition and all these things are good. Seeing what other people are doing in the world is good. You strive harder. I always tell them that. Well, but if someone's doing something better, just work harder. That's all it is. Everybody can do what they can do. You just have to do the best that you can do. And your best is the best. I have to tell them that all the time because that's not what the world is saying. They're being hit with all this skin idolatry. Oh, my skin is better because it's lighter. My skin is better because it's darker. My hair this, cute that. All the foolishness, just all of it. And then everything else that some kids in California and New York are being subjected to. It is criminal. It is criminal. Children are not prepared for that. And we need to stop letting them down. They're depressed, they're confused, they're lost. They don't have an identity. Y'all are pushing all these identities on children. They don't even have an identity. They don't even know who they are. That is problematic. It is problematic. We cannot continue to let our children be targeted. We just have to put on our big boy and our big girl underwear and stand up for our children. All of our children. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood. It is not about race. It does not matter. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood. This is spiritual. It is a spiritual fight. And we have to fight in the spirit. We need to pray together collectively on one accord. We need to talk about it collectively and pray on the same thing. Constant. All the time. Pray for the children. All the children. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. If we keep getting caught up in what each other look like, we're going to keep missing the message. And the message is right now that all of the children are being targeted. All of the children are being indoctrinated into evilness, into wickedness. And it's messing with their innocence, and they don't know who they are anymore. They don't have a purpose anymore. So all these movies that we used to see, even from the 30s, of people just mindlessly walking into these plants, just working, coming in and going, that's going to be them. Walking in with their heads down on their phones, do some work, or just work from home, or work mentally because you allowed yourself to get tapped into something, put a chip in your brain, and all you gotta do is think about work and you can do work. Whatever it is, they're being disconnected from the source, from the Most High, the source of all. They're connected into this medium that isn't real. being disconnected from the ultimate source, right? Because all these other things are trying to connect to them. And it's sensory overload, and they can't handle that. If our brains are a computer and there's a million cords plugged in all over the place, but the main source is disconnected, and all these things have autonomous features where they can come in and still download information, right? Without needing a main connection, because a lot of things are still like that. You get disconnected, it has a backup, right? All these redundancies set in place so that things continue to function, even being disconnected from the source. It's by design. This whole thing is by design. We need to unplug our children from phones and tablets and TV and plug them into the source, the one who created them, the one who blessed us with them. We are responsible for these humans. These little humans are going to grow up. And who are we raising them to be? What are we teaching them? What is our method of teaching? Are we telling them one thing and doing another? Or are we just acting in a certain way and they're being taught in that manner? How are we teaching them? Or are we just throwing them off to any school and saying, here you go, you figure it out? All that other stuff is not my job. My job is not here to teach. I just feed them. I make sure they clean. I send them to school. That's all I'm supposed to do. Make sure they fed, got clothes. They got the newest Jordans. They good. They got the newest Switch game. They got the whatever it is. That's not sustainable. Spiritually, it's not spiritually sustainable. That will falter. It will fail. If it's man-made, it will fail. We are failing collectively. We have put so much on our plates. We have placed so much pressure on ourselves to be these super moms and super dads, right? I got to have a 6-figure business, and I got my kid, and they good in sports, and they super smart, and they reading by 2.5, and we all these little things that are influencing us too, making us think that we have to be a certain way. Oh, I'm at the club with this rapper over here, and I'm on this set over there. I'm whatever stupid thing that makes us feel like we're important, whatever it is. Having the longest weave and the longest nails and mink eyelashes and the biggest lips and the biggest butt and the widest hips and the smallest waist. And this is a skin suit. It's a skin suit. It doesn't matter. It's not real. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. This doesn't matter. I used to really get caught up in this. This doesn't matter. And we are allowing this to not be able to hear each other, to realize that we are all having the same problem. I talk to all kinds of mothers all the time, all day, and we all have the same problems. I don't care if she's an esthetician, if she's a teacher, if she's a doctor, a nurse, unemployed, stay-at-home mom. It does not matter. We are literally all struggling in the same way as far as our children are concerned. And most of the people I talk to, and fathers have a lot of the same concerns. I just don't spend a whole lot of time talking to a bunch of different fathers. But they have a lot of similar concerns as well. But theirs just comes from a different place. But it's the same. So parents, We all are facing, most of us, some of y'all, most of us are facing the same concerns. Most of us have the same fears and anxieties as far as our children are concerned about protecting them, making sure they are good, great people when they grow up, that they're well rounded, that they're kind and loving, and not criminals and people who cheat others and who end up on drugs and in the streets and become susceptible to deception. We are all just trying our very best. Some of us doing better than others. I have many moments that I have had to apologize to my child for. Tell him, no, mama lost it. I didn't mean to yell at you like that. After the fifth time, mama telling you, mama lost her patience. I could have handled that a different way, but I'm going to need you to be obedient. I'm going to need you to listen. So I don't have to get here, but I will do better in the future with controlling myself, because if I'm not in control of myself, I can't teach him how to be in control of himself. A lot of us are out of control and a lot of us are out of order. And so we're wondering why our children are lost in the fray, because we are out of order completely. And if you say that you are a believer, I don't care what your religious belief is. If you say you're a believer and you believe the Most High, God, Allah, Jesus, don't matter, then we are technically all of the Abrahamic faith and we all believe in the same master. So we all have the same fundamental similarities and agreements that we all believe that we're supposed to live by. But we're so caught up in the division that they have given us that we haven't formed a proper parental coalition against evil and wickedness in high places. We can't understand that our children are in dire need of direction, protection, and correction. And instead, we get caught up in our skin suits and the money, in where we live, in political affiliations, in religious denominations, that we can't hear each other. We can't hear each other. We are all literally screaming the same thing. But you slap a blue or a red on it, you slap a cross or a crescent, we can't hear. So collectively, we have failed our children. We have not done our jobs. To the mothers, we are co-creators with the Most High. We help to bring this life into this earth. They want to call us birthing people. Yes. I'm a woman and I'm also a birthing person, because I bring forth life in many different facets, not just within the function of a human, but I'm a co-creator with him in that way. And with that, I have a responsibility to make sure that I impart, that I am my child's first teacher. And the things that I teach him is in accordance with the word and how the word said that I'm supposed to govern the house and my parentage, what I'm supposed to be doing, what I'm supposed to be showing in my behavior and my actions, what I'm supposed to be saying, how I'm letting my yays be yays and nays be nays, to be trustworthy and credible in the eyes of my child, so that when I say something to him or to her, that they can hear me and follow my guidance and know that what I'm saying is more important than what the world is saying. Because the world is teaching our children right now, especially if we have them plugged into a phone or a tablet or a TV. Even if you think it's positive learning, even if they're still plugged into that. And then when they have to have real life interactions, they won't know how. And then we get frustrated because they don't know how to be in public. They don't know how to be because they're always in another world, another reality, another dimension. They can build whatever they want. They can be whomever they want. But in this world, we're telling them this is who you are. Everybody's screaming at them, this is who you are. And no one's consistent in their word. No one is consistent. Not the parents, not the media, not their teachers. It's always some back and forth because everybody's just trying to be so PC that the truth is being lost on our children. Y'all push the Easter Bunny. Y'all push Santa. Listen, don't bring your children around me. I will tell them Santa does not exist. And then if they say, yes, Santa is real, I'm going to say, so what, you think your parents work hard all the time so Santa can buy you presents? Because I told somebody to shout at, and I shall never apologize for it. And if they went back and told their mama what I said, I doubt that she would be able to argue. So you going to give somebody else credit for all your hard work, you slaving all these hours and trying to make sure you done went and tore up the streets of Walmart and Target and Best Buy to get these games and all these things, and you gonna put from Santa. That's foolish. Ain't no Santa in this house. Ain't no Easter Bunny. None of it. None of it. No Tooth Fairy at all. We work very hard to provide you with the light. Through the grace of the Most High. Tell your children the truth about everything. Tell them the truth. Just tell them the truth. They will hear the truth, and the truth shall make them free. The truth will make them free. Stop lying to them and stop letting them be lied to, because it is causing them confusion. Confusion. They are confused, and that goes deeper than just these buzzwords that are being thrown around. These children are spiritually confused. They can't make sense of anything right now. Everything is just up in the air. They don't know what to believe from March to May. They need our direction, our correction and protection. They need all of it. They need it. They need it. They require it. Children require structure and discipline and truth and honor and character and dignity and responsibility and accountability. If you can't show your children that you can be accountable for your actions, and you're consistently and continually blaming other people for your shortcomings, they're going to grow up to be individuals who are consistently and continually blaming other people for their shortcomings. I have a way out if I can say so-and-so didn't let me do it, or this person stood in my way, or they didn't let me, or whatever foolish excuse you want to come up with. I don't care who you are. If there is something in this world that you say is for you, then it's for you, period. Nobody can come against that. Nobody but you. You are the only one standing in your way. What does this have to do with the children? Because they're watching us. They're watching everything we do. They're watching everything that we say. So we are modeling poor behavior that says we're not really responsible for our decisions. We're not really responsible for our own actions, because there's some mystery man sitting somewhere up in a high-rise penthouse who's saying that I can't have it. Or even if you want to blame the devil. Oh, the devil busy. He always coming up, trying to come up against me. But y'all be in church every Sunday or in the masjid or wherever, saying that you believe that the Most High has all the power. He is the Almighty, the all-knowing, the omnipotent. If he knows all and sees all and can do all things, and we really honestly believe that he created the heavens and the earth in its perfection, then we are going to then turn and say that a man, a human, a created being has more power over his creation than he does. If you believe that, then you're not a believer. You need to take that hat off and go repent for lying all this time. You cannot say you are a believer and believe that a created being has more power over you than the creator of all things, which includes your children. These people can't just come and do whatever they want to do. They can't just come and seize our rights as parents and say that we don't have the right to tell our children the truth. If we feel that way, then have mercy on our souls. If we feel that way, then have mercy on our souls. Because I don't know what else to say about that. If you say you are a believer, then you need to stand in and on the word for exactly what it says and believe it with everything that's inside of you. If you believe that the word is true, whether it be the Bible or the Quran, if you believe the word is true, because a lot of it is almost identical, a lot of the main miracles and the prophets, all the same. So we all believe foundationally the same thing. And if that be the case, then we also believe that he is a mighty God. Mighty. There is none beside him, for he is one. So if there be none beside him, that means he has all the power over all the things. And if that be the case, then who can stand against you? Even in these evil times, who can stand against you? So let's stand up for our children. I'm going to cut this. Let's stand up for our children. If we say we love them, let's stand for them. All of them. All of them deserve our protection. All of them. We have to collectively protect the children. Say a prayer for our children. Pray for them all the time. Pray without ceasing. Pray all the time for the children. Whenever your thoughts are going to some wayward ways, just stop and pray for the children. Just redirect to the children. You don't know what to pray. Pray for the children. Just that's the best thing we can do for the sake of all of us. Because and a child shall lead them. So where are we going to teach these children to lead us to? Be very careful. Be very, very careful. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. We don't need to be on the internet arguing with each other about politics and religion and race and subsects of race, FBA and non-FBA and who blah blah, but who cares? At this point, none of it matters. There is a bigger fish that we all have to fry collectively. A big jumbo sized mega tuna big enough to swallow Jonah. Stop arguing with each other about silly, mundane things that don't have anything to do with anything, especially in regards to our souls, our children, our freedoms. Okay? Most of us, we're all parents. I don't care if you have birthed children, had children, fathered children, doesn't matter. We are all parents. We are all parents because we're all teachers, because the children are watching all of us. So we are all raising these children together, good and bad. So what are you teaching the children? What are we displaying to them? How is our behavior constructive or destructive? Ask yourself and be honest. And don't make any excuses and don't pawn it off on anybody else. Take some accountability and say, what have I done that has either been destructive or constructive to the raising of my child or the children around me? How is my behavior affecting them? And be honest with what you're doing. If you club every weekend and you posting twerking videos every 5 seconds and people see your butt more than your face, and or you got these chains on and you talking to money and so stupid. Are you walking around sagging your pants and yelling at women and you being disrespectful? And are you a grandparent and you're gambling all the time and you always got a drink in your hand and something smoking in your mouth? and you cursing and using crazy obscenities 24/7, you are teaching these children all of that. And you can't make excuses. That's just how I am. Then that means that that's how you want them to be. Because you can't say, do as I say, not as I do. That is ridiculous. Because they're going to do what they see. Because they don't listen to your word anymore. Because your word don't mean nothing. Because you're saying one thing and doing another. You're not credible. That's why these children are not listening. There's no credibility. They don't believe us. Because we've been contrary. We've been hypocrites. We've gone back and forth on issues and arguing about silly things. You think children don't know what foolishness sounds like? They know. Some just too scared to articulate it, or they don't know how. But children know what foolishness sounds like. That's why they stop listening to you. And if your children are listening to you, it's because you're always speaking foolishness. And if you have a problem with that, you need to check yourself and not me. Because I promise you, and I'm talking about me too, I'm in a much better place now. But when I stopped being contrary, not even realizing I was being contrary, he started listening more. Because he realized, oh, okay, so she doing what she say. Oh, okay. Like, it took a minute. I have to be honest with myself. Because we make all these rationalizations and justifications for why we do certain things or why we can do it because we're adults or we're the parent. And it's foolish and it's toxic. And they know it's dumb. And we lose credibility and we lose their trust. So you have to build that back and keep your word and be who you are and be the person that you're saying that you want them to be. If you don't care about your child doing drugs and cursing all the time and not caring about knowledge and education, not so much just school, because some of these schools are really teaching our children some foolishness and we need to really push back on that, but just knowledge. If you're not putting a book in front of your child, if you just letting the tablets, phones, and TVs raise them, if you let them eat all kind of processed food, if you know what I'm saying, like we'll feed our kids Raising Cane's and Chick-fil-A in a minute, and it's just like I don't have a lot of time. I guilty, because I'm always on the go. I'm always on the go. But I'm sure there's provisions that can be made where I can make sure that I have things prepared in advance and never always feel like I'm behind schedule. Get a plan, make a schedule, write the vision, make it plain. So I'm going to end it. Thank y'all for listening. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you pray for the children above all. Pray for the children. Pray, 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 pray all the time. Pray without ceasing. Pray and then pray some more. Pray falling asleep, wake up, pray again. If you have children, thank the Most High for your children. They are a blessing. They're not a burden. Children are never, ever a burden. I don't care if you live on Skid Row. The child is a blessing and will be a blessing too. You'd be surprised the wisdom that comes out of a child's mouth. Sometimes a child will be your salvation. They will somehow work their way in the Most High. He's all wise. He knows. He gives the children for a reason. How many times have we seen with these prophets and their children the lessons the children have taught? Just because they're children don't mean they can't teach you something. So listen to your children. They're trying to tell us that they are drowning and they need us to stand up for them now. They are drowning. They are fighting for their lives. And we can't even throw them a life raft. Figure it out. Toughen up. We need to support them way better than what we have been. But I love y'all. I always say everything I say in peace and love. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, criticisms, hit me in the comments. Let me know. I will respond. I won't say right away because I don't be checking notifications. Sometimes YouTube don't even give me notifications. But leave the comments. I will see. I'm very open to dialogue, to healthy debate, healthy, respectful debate. But yeah, I'll be praying for your children. Pray for mine. I'm praying for everybody's, all of them. They're all ours. Bye.